Good morning, students. Today I am Professor Bonnie, and with me is Professor AJ. And today we are going to talk about Animal Farm. Well, Andy Serkis, you had 14 years to do your homework, and, well, it's time now to grade you. And the first thing I want to say to the audience is, to everybody who criticized the 1999 version, apologize right now. You go ahead and apologize right now. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay, so category number 1. Let's look at the animation. How did Angel Studios do with the animation for Animal Farm?
Well, I've seen worse animation, but I've also seen better. I feel like the animals were fine, except for Snowball and several others, but the people were atrocious. It looked like an early 2000s video game.
Yeah. I swear, whoever animated that little girl that was like, oh, so cute! You did a bad job. Well, okay, that's too harsh. But still, you should have thought better. You should have reanimated. 2026. We had Soul in 2020. Soul. But at the same time, some of the animation's actually pretty good, so I can't entirely fault it for it. So, what do you think? B or B minus?
I feel like a B is fine.
Okay. Animation. You have earned your first B. Voice acting. How did the voice acting do?
So, they weren't really just like calling in their lines. I've definitely heard worse voice acting before. It wasn't like they were just reading down a book into a microphone. But they weren't exactly putting their full heart into the movie. So, it's not bad. Can't complain. It's not its worst aspect of the movie, which we will get to soon.
Oh, totally.
But I would say a B or a C, whichever you feel.
Yeah, that's worth a B because, frankly, everybody did their best, and maybe it's one of the few good things that Animal Farm did right. So, with that said, congratulations, you also got a B on voice acting. Next category, Snowball. Let me just say this right now. Did you forget that Snowball's not meant to be the good guy at all? Did you forget that? Because, again, he's supposed to be Leon Trotsky, or should I say in this case, she is supposed to be Leon Trotsky. She is not meant to be the good guy. How do you think that Soviet Russia would have been under Leon Trotsky again?
So pretty bad, actually. I would say some people think, since things were very bad with Stalin, then it must have been better with Trotsky, but people kind of forget that Trotsky kind of wanted to take over the world. His plan was to use the Red Army and systematically invade every single Western country in Europe and turn them all into Soviets. He was not a good guy.
And in Animal Farm, Snowball mimicked that. He wanted to send birds out to other farms to also be part of it. So I already fail on that one. And fail on the fact that you have basically tried to turn Snowball into the good guy, or good girl, because, of course, girls are good. They can't be anything bad. Other than Pilkington. But still, oh my gosh, how often are we going to forget that none of the pigs were good characters. They were not good guys. And even as a standalone, she's kind of a Mary Sue, other than the fact that she somehow gets away, actually doesn't get away.
No.
She willingly gets escorted away. Wow. Way to a way softer treatment than what was in here. Yeah, remember when Snowball was chased off the farm? Who needs to have Snowball be chased off the farm? No, let's escort her and make sure that she never comes back. So, I am actually not sure what to give this one.
I'm giving it an F.
Yeah. Okay. Snowball's F. And who we got next? We've got Napoleon. Easy F. No, not an F. F minus.
Yeah. Napoleon was a disappointment. It just completely not in character at all for Napoleon. Like, constantly talking. We'll get to Squealer in a few minutes, but Napoleon was essentially Squealer in this thing. Basically, the one that was chatting everybody up. He was silly, goofy. Basically, it was Seth Rogen playing himself the entire time. No intimidation whatsoever. No strategy whatsoever. Absolutely none of that in the entire thing. And yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, did you forget that Napoleon is supposed to be Joseph Stalin and supposed to be the mastermind of so much damage done at Animal Farm? I mean, we already talked about Trotsky and Snowball, and Stalin who Napoleon is supposed to be based off of, was supposed to be the terror, the absolute terror of it all.
This Napoleon loved people, loved humans, loved the farmer. Oh, the farmer wasn't that good, but at least he wasn't boring. Quote from the movie.
And gives Mr. Jones credit. As far as Napoleon is supposed to be concerned, humans are beneath him.
Doing it was
4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
He was doing his best to suck up to the humans and trying to impress them, and so excited and happy. And
Napoleon would not do that. Oh my gosh, Napoleon would not do that. If he wanted to, he could have sick his dogs on the humans. And he does during the Battle of the Windmill.
Which wasn't even a thing.
And nor was the Battle of the Cowshed.
No.
Oh. Yeah, the 2 crucial battles, and you messed it up. So, way to go. Way to go. And I know that F minus is usually not a score on schoolwork, but you know what? Napoleon has absolutely earned that F minus. And now we come to Squealer. What's something good I can say about him? He was delicious. Hey, shout out to this YouTuber for putting up the recipe from the Avatar cookbook. Oh my gosh, I have never had anything like it. It is delicious and is the best way to eat Squealer. Aside from that, I'm supposed to hate this character. I have never had a book character that I hate more than Squealer. I mean, technically Napoleon is supposed to be more hateable, but Squealer! I hate Squealer for every way that he twists the truth, manipulates the animals, and sweet talks them into agreeing with him and Napoleon. He's even able to manipulate Boxer and manipulate the perception of Boxer's death. Did you forget that? Did you forget that you're supposed to have him be manipulative? Okay. Oh. Basically, what I'm trying to say about this is I feel nothing with this Squealer. I'm supposed to hate the porker. I hate the porker in the book. I hate the porker in the CIA cartoon. I hate that little porker in the 1999 movie. This porker is a nothing burger. An absolute nothing burger. I don't hate him. I don't like him. Just nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's the bumbling buffoon for the other bumbling buffoon called Napoleon.
Yeah, so Napoleon was nothing without Squealer in the book. Napoleon would come in, knock things around, say random stuff, do whatever the heck he wanted, and then Squealer would come in and explain all of his reasoning, going through the whole process. Oh, you see, Napoleon did this because X, Y, Z. Oh, you see, we would have to do this because A, B, C. But this Squealer, nothing, because they gave Napoleon all of those lines. Napoleon just justified it himself. What did Squealer do? Squealer wasn't even a yes man. Squealer just kind of followed Napoleon around, trying to gain his approval. Nothing else. They were attempting to make him comic relief, but he wasn't even funny. He was like, oh, we'll have Squealer fall down the stairs. Oh, we'll have Squealer fall in the pool. And at one point, they had Squealer say that he would make a statement for something, but he never ever made any statements. He didn't do anything. He wasn't. Yeah, Squealer was pretty hateable in the previous, and this was kind of where I would put this grade. If I hated Squealer, then Squealer would get an A. But I don't feel anything. This Squealer was not Squealer. For me, he gets an F.
Absolutely. Once again, pigs are on an F scale. Job well done. Job well done. Next one, Boxer and Benjamin. I actually had to add Benjamin to this one because, shockingly, they are actually good. They were the only characters from the book done right. You got Boxer, who's very hardworking, and give credit to the voice actor. He actually sounds like somebody who's willing to work hard and double the hours if needed, and even put his life in jeopardy if needed. Benjamin, a strange choice having Kathleen Turner voice him and somehow being him. But then again, if Glenn Close could be a pirate in Hook, then I guess this could work too. But she does a great job in capturing the sarcasm of Benjamin and the life's never going to change, it's all going to suck kind of attitude. So, yeah, I like these.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't have said it better myself. I was impressed with the character of Boxer and Benjamin. I think they did pretty well. And without going into spoilers...
I'm going to go into spoilers.
You're going to go into spoilers. Okay, then I'll let Bonnie go into the spoilers, but I think they wrap things up very well, too. So I was expecting them to go in one direction, and they didn't go in that direction. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with those characters, and I would say... I mean, I would go as far as to give them an A for Boxer and Benjamin, but... yeah, what do you think, Bonnie?
Absolutely, and if you don't want spoilers, I will put the timestamp on where to skip. But, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, you're still here. So, so they still send Boxer to the glue factory, and they actually give him a pretty good farewell, while it's also being rushed, but still. The fact that they actually went through with it, I'm impressed that they did that, because I was actually expecting them to save Boxer, and they don't. You still get the harsh goodbye between him and the piglet Lucky, so kudos for that. And but overall, even if they did save Boxer's life, I still think he's one of the best characters in there. And Benjamin was also terrific. So, without further ado, A?
They get an A.
Way to go on that, Animal Farm. You actually got your first A.
It's all downhill from here.
Uh-oh. Yep. And we get to Pilkington. aka supposed to be the United Kingdom and supposed to be Winston Churchill. And now, according to some reviewers, is Elon Musk's mother. I barely got anything for her. She's not even the mastermind. I mean, she's the mastermind of capitalism, but she doesn't try to undermine Napoleon at all, or really undermine much of Animal Farm. She barely does much with it. I can't really make much of this character. I mean, what do you think?
So I thought they were going to try to play him up as being an antagonist. They were really, really trying to play this character up as being an antagonist. But in the end, kind of just like went along with the ride. I mean, she helped with Napoleon a little bit and kind of worked with Napoleon to facilitate things. But at the end of the day, I was like waiting for that double cross, or I was waiting for something. But you could have probably removed her from the story and still got the story that we had. I would say, yeah, it's... And to take a character in the book who barely did anything as it was, to then, like, try to ramp this up, I feel like they didn't really know what to do with this character except to say, oh, we need an allegory for capitalism. Let's just put this character in to do that. That's kind of what I got from that, so... Yeah.
And honestly, I'll say it again. They should have gone with Mr. Frederick, aka the allegory for Hitler.
Yeah.
If you wanted a real bad guy, but then again, Napoleon is also supposed to be the real bad guy. You're supposed to know that. How could you not know that? And seriously, Moses the Raven is a robot? So,
yeah.
No Sugar Candy Mountain. I don't care if he was somewhat pointless. I mean, he was kind of meant to be pointless in the book, but still, Moses? Really? A robot? What the heck were you even thinking? For Pilkington alone...
What would you grade it?
I'm stuck on... I'm stuck in either D or a D minus.
I would say if they would have at least done something. So I feel like the character was wasted potential. I would go for a D minus.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So Pilkington has got a D minus. All right.
At least they didn't get an F.
Lucky for you humans on that one. Respect for the source. I'm just going to quote Dave the Barbarian on this one. Oh, there must be something lower than F minus. Z, Z, C, Z. Yeah, I don't care if that's not a grade in normal schools, but that is worse than what you've done with Napoleon. Respect for the source, my butt. Oh my gosh, you literally have Stalin saying, I'm going to fart now. You have Stalin saying, I'm going to fart now. Are you trying to be a springtime for Hitler kind of thing? Because this makes no sense. And oh my gosh. And I'm just going to bring this up. I brought it up earlier. On Wikipedia, long before this movie came out, and while the casting was still being released little by little, I saw that Andy Serkis was supposed to voice not only the Rooster, but also Old Major. Where is Old Major? You got Snowball saying Old Major's lines. Why? Because she's a girl. She has to come up with the plans. Snowball came up with plenty of plans, but it was all based around Old Major, a.k.a. Karl Marx, a.k.a. Vladimir Lenin. They were the ones who said, revolt against the humans. Revolt against the humans, and all the fruits of your labors can be yours only, and not for tyrant man. Oh my gosh. And you dare call yourself a cautionary tale. You dare call yourself a cautionary tale. What are you cautionary on? Exactly, because George Orwell, he didn't have to say cautionary tale. He actually wrote that cautionary tale. He put the thought into it. He also was the one who pretty much documented what happened in Soviet Russia, just changed the characters into farm animals and farmers. So I see no respect for I see no respect for the source in this, and just how very careless it is. And you rush the important scenes. You rush the revolt. You rush the commandments, and you rushed the major plot points that were supposed to be hard hitting, and you gave away spoilers about the pigs being on their hind legs. There was a reason that was saved for the final chapter, and why it was a genuine shock. Because Animal Farm, I don't call it a fairy classic, a fairy story like most people seem to, because this seemed to exist more in like the real world. You could believe that this would happen in the real world, because Orwell wrote it in a way that it would be almost realistic. Like, he found a way to make the pigs milk the cows, despite that it's usually impossible. And he found a way to make the pigs right on the right on the side of the barn. This one, you have posters of all the pigs standing on their hind legs like they're from Madagascar, or barnyard. So you gave away the spoilers on this one. You gave away everything that Orwell stood for on this. And you did not even, you tried to turn this from communism into capitalism. What the heck is wrong with you? And on top of that, Andy Serkis, you actually did Mowgli, A Legend of the Jungle, decently. And from what I've heard, at least, it was fairly respectful to the book. Maybe a few changes here and there. And I don't think that the CGI was that great, especially compared to the Disney remake. But seriously, I was counting on you. I was counting on you to respect the source material, not to go stupid on this. This is something I would expect from somebody who directed the Smurfs, and that hurts to say.
Yeah. I think the only cautionary tale here is what happens when Andy Serkis tries to recreate Animal Farm without trying to actually care about the source material, try to do his own spin on things, and try to just reverse everything. And it felt like the only plot points that they were trying to hit for the source material, they were trying to get through them as quickly as possible. To just, let's just hammer these points here, 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 here. Most of the time they weren't even hammering them out correctly. And then turning around and then just trying to get to their own plot as their own, unique plot as quickly as they could. Trying to mix the two together also ended up coming with a bunch of, logical fallacies and things that made no sense and things that happened earlier in the show and then were broken later, and it's just, it could have been something. It could have been great. And they just, they ruined it. And yeah, an F would have been way too kind of a score for this. It deserves something far worse than an F. So it's got a Z. Congratulations. You just broke a record, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And I gotta add this one more thing. You tried to not make this political. You do not do that with Animal Farm. It's absolutely meant to be political. And if you want to make something for kids and try to send a message, then make something yourself. Enough said on that one. And that wasn't meant to be for kids. Disney had more respect for kids than you do. You literally called alcohol naughty juice. Kids are gonna catch on to what it is. Kids are smarter than you think. They are more critical than you think. The only reason that they seem to be dumber nowadays is because you treat them that way. You treat them as adorable idiots. You pretty much, you now give them game phones to play on, and expect them to be quiet, or expect them to have not enough attention span. Have some respect for your kids, and this is supposed to be the audience that you're supposedly giving it to, and it's not even for kids. I don't count this as being for kids in any way. You don't treat the kids right, and on top of that, George Orwell had specifically said, do not put this in the kids section, despite how very fooling the title is. You literally turned this into Barnyard minus the originality and minus the respect.
I think that sounds about right. There's something in literature called show, don't tell. This is the opposite. Not only did it have narration throughout the entire thing, including during some critical parts that absolutely were making some Bonnies go ballistic, but I would say every single point where they tried to show something, they just couldn't help themselves by turning around and saying it. I recall one scene where Snowball was saying that we need to store the grains for the winter, and Napoleon wanted to eat the grains. Well, later, Napoleon and all the animals came in and ate the grains. Later, Napoleon then said, see, we shouldn't have listened to Snowball when she said that we should eat all the grains during the winter. If they would have stopped there, then that would have been fine. But then they had Lucky the Piglet come out and say, but Napoleon, Snowball said we should keep the grains. You're the one that said we should eat the grains for the winter. Yeah, duh. You're not supposed to say that part out loud. They did this through the entire thing. They had to go out of their way to tell us what we should think of every situation. Don't believe that Napoleon is lying. You had to tell us they were lying. In the original Animal Farm, nobody said what happened to Boxer out loud. Napoleon, Squealer, Napoleon would never do that. Yeah, surely you're mistaken. You just read, no, it's because of this. That's why it looked like that, but it's not like that at all. Well, in the movie, that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. And if you guys really care about spoilers, I'll count down 3, 2, 1. But Lucky came running in and Napoleon said, yeah, he's glue now. Of course. We killed Boxer. Outright said it. And Squealer's just sitting on a smartphone saying, yeah, he's glue. That's what he glued the whole farm together. So now he's really glue for real. And it just destroyed the ending that they gave Boxer.
And this is also going to be part of the spoiler. This was another thing that they messed up on, because he had a brilliant moment. Where Lucky was looking from pig to Pilkington, Pilkington to pig, and the faces were mushing together. So Pilkington was turning into a pig, Pigleton, you could say, and Napoleon was turning into a man. And that was great. That was great at first. But then the stupid Narration had to come in and say, he looked from man to pig and pig to man, and it was impossible to say which is which. I don't care that that was in the book. Show, don't tell. Show, don't tell. Oh my gosh. Kids are smart to figure these things out, and they would have figured that out just looking at that moment. I mean, not all kids, I will account for that, but not every kid thinks the same. You need to know that. But a majority of them are smarter than you give them credit for. So shame on you for that. Anything else?
No, I think I think it's pretty consensus that what score they get for this.
Hey, where's this thing? I'd say that's another F-. So, congratulations. How about modern Orwellian? Fail. That's all I can say.
So.
Fail. It doesn't work. I mean, it's clear that they're trying to be an anti-Trump movie, but even that doesn't work. And I'm pretty sure that both conservatives and liberals can agree with that. It doesn't work in that sense, because these characters just can't carry it out. You cannot be Orwellian with one Seth Rogen being your buffoon Napoleon. I don't know if this was trying to be a Springtime for Hitler or not, but it still doesn't work. What Orwell was doing in Animal Farm was documenting what was happening in Soviet Russia, and just change the characters into farm animals and farmers. Is that really hard to do? Heck, this thing is about 100 pages or so. This is an easier read than 1984, if you will. About you?
I think you pretty much knocked it out of the park. I feel like this movie had an identity crisis, and we'll get to that next part in a minute. But yeah, they couldn't have they technically had at least one job, and they couldn't even do that. So I would fail this one. Easy F for me.
F. I'm debating F- or just an F.
I would at least give it an F. I mean, if you want to give it an F-, you can. Because, let's give it an F- because it's a 0. If it's
F-.
at least a 0.
How about on its own merits? No. Another F. This case, not F-, but just an F, because this movie just, this movie doesn't work on its own merits. It's rushed in the crucial moments, and it paces at the wrong moments too. So, no.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no! I was just gonna say, it's like that. It felt like this movie had an identity crisis. It was trying to do two different things. I think it probably would have worked out if it would have just been its own movie. Like, if they would have not tried to make an Animal Farm movie and would have just tried to make their own thing, maybe it would have had a chance. But trying to mix two totally different storylines together while trying to work them around the Animal Farm premise while also not being Animal Farm, they failed at doing both of those things. So it's like, I feel like just as bad as trying to respect the source material, they couldn't even go to get, they can't even hold up on their own merits as well. If you were not trying to watch an Animal Farm movie, you're still not going to get anything out of this. You might as well watch Barnyard.
Yeah. So, on its own merits, you've earned an F. And we're going to address how hypocritical this movie is. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to say this. So, first of all, this movie was originally going to be done with Netflix, and yet Netflix turned this away. I still have no idea why, but Netflix was willing to market Cuties in 2020 or 2021, whichever, and that's a child pornography movie, and yet this they said no to. What the heck were you thinking? What the heck were you up to? Netflix, why would you think that this is worse? That is disgusting of you and despicable. And yeah, hypocritical. Andy Serkis, you tried to make this about anti-capitalism, and yet you're hoping to bank money off of this, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, in being anti-capitalism and yet still keeping in the capitalism and saying all the evil stuff about capitalism, yeah, you are a hypocrite in this. And yes, I am talking about Andy Serkis because you know what? He not only directed this, he produced it. And he did some writing on it. So, yeah, he is totally to blame for some of it. He's totally to blame for this. Along with other people, of course. I don't want to be cruel to Angel Studio because I love The Chosen. I seriously love The Chosen, but at the same time, why, Angel? What did you see in this movie that would say, oh yeah, let's totally do this? This anti-Christian, anti-communism book. What made you think, Angel Studio, that this was okay? Or okay for kids? Did you really watch the production of this or read the script at all? Really? So, seriously? And on top of that, thank you for this, Animal Farm. Apparently, at the end credits, they tell us, make your voice heard. Important announcement at the end credits, still holding us hostage, by the way, and saying, vote. How was this movie? Did you like it? Basically, we voted no, and here's the result on here. This is what happens when you vote no on there.
What I think is funny is they're talking about how they're going to be dispatching Squealer to release a statement. Whoever created this website, when you vote no, knew more about the Animal Farm's book than the creators of this movie, because Squealer did more in this website than he did in the entirety of the Animal Farm's movie. It's so ironic.
It's hilarious. And for this, we definitely have to circle yes. You are a hypocrite, Animal Farm. And that leads us to the final grade for this one. Let's see, we got 2 B's, okay, an F, an F minus, an F, an A, a D minus, a Z, an F minus, F minus, F minus.
I don't think that A is going to save them, Bonnie.
Nope. That A does not save them. I think, what do you think? F?
I think they still failed. I think they still get an F.
Okay. Yep, you've big time earned an F from this. So, 14 years to do this, and this is your report card, Andy Serkis / Animal Farm. Congratulations, you had 14 years to put this together. You absolutely failed. Congratulations for that. So, thank you for joining Professor AJ and I on this journey. Tune in next time when we have to watch 1984, directed by Tommy Wiseau and starring Jerry Seinfeld as Winston, Carrot Top as O'Brien, Pauly Shore as Goldstein, Sarah Silverman as Julia, and none other than Larry the Cable Guy as Big Brother. Thank you so much for joining us on that, and we look forward to seeing you next time. And don't watch this movie, please. And also, Hollywood, don't you dare think about it. Don't you dare. That's it. See you next time.